Right. So, good evening, friends. Uh, in this session, I'll be discussing about the topic summary measures of public health. Under this session, I'll be discussing about the first important subtopic, that is DALY. Okay, Daly's. So, the first thing we need to understand, okay, that is what do you mean by DALYS, Daly's? It is disability adjusted life years. We need to understand the meaning of each point, right? Disability, right? What do you mean by disability? Suffering with some disease where your the quality of work has reduced, okay? Disability adjusted life years. Now, say example, a patient has a rheumatoid arthritis. So, rheumatoid arthritis, the first point we need to understand, this is the birth of a patient. This is the normal death of a patient or the person. This is the birth of a person and this is the death of a person. Now, we need to understand there is a healthy life going on. Because of some problem, this patient or this person X had developed rheumatoid arthritis at this aspect, and this is the point where he is suffering with rheumatoid arthritis, and this is a death of the person, of that person. Now we need to understand what exactly the Daly means. Okay, so we need to understand the Daly indicates burden of the disease, and it indicates or it measures both mortality and disability, right? Hope you are understanding both mortality and disability. So let us understand the formula. The first formula tells here is the Daly's formula, okay, is YLL plus YLD. What do you mean by YLL? It is years lived with disability. What is YLD? Years, right, lived, or you can understand this is YLL is years of life lost. YLD is year lived with disability. Now we need to understand this YLL tells that it is years of life lost. YLD is years lived with disability. Now when I tell you the first important aspect of YLL, right, when I tell you the first important aspect of YLL, that is years lived, years of life lost, okay, life lost. Now years lost due to premature death. That means, now if you take this example, the patient, right, say example, the patient or the person X starts the journey and the expected death, say example you have 80 years is the normal lifespan of a person. In this aspect, the patient started suffering with rheumatoid arthritis, and after few years the patient dies. So this is the aspect where he has to live the normal life, but he has died before the expected death. So you call this as premature death. So that's the first basic point you need to understand, that is years of life lost. Now say example, the patient died at the year 50 here, right? Right? 50 has died. Now the years lost is 80 minus 50, that is 30. So YLL is years lost due to premature death. And the next important aspect you need to understand, that is YLD, years lived with disability. Years lived with disability. Years lived with disability. When I tell the years lived with disability, say example, the patient is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 30 and he died at the age of 50. Now the years of disability is 50 minus 30, that is 20 years is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. Literally 20 years is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. So that's what it tells, that is YLD, years lived with the disability or illness or injury. Right? So we need to understand in basic points, right, that one Daly, right? DALY, it is 1 year of healthy life lost. 1 year of healthy life lost. Now I've told you the formula of Daly, right? That is YLL, years of life lost, plus years lived with disability. Now say example, to understand much better, there are two diseases. Now say example, you have a disease A and you got a disease B. What happens in the disease A person, 60 years Daly lost. It means you need to understand 1 Daly equal to 1 year of healthy life lost. 1 year of healthy life lost. You need to understand. Right? So 60 Daly lost means you need to understand 60 years of healthy life lost in the disease A. What happens if a person has a disease B? He has 20 years of healthy life lost. Can I tell that is 20 DAL is lost, Daly lost? Yes. So can I consider if I take the disease A, I compare the disease with the B, and which disease is more burden? So more burden goes to the 60 Daly lost, because this patient is losing the quality. He is losing 60 years of life. Understanding? Right? So can I tell it indicates the burden of disease? Yes. When I tell the person is suffering, can I tell it tells the disability? Right? Can I tell years lost due to premature death? That is, can I tell it is a mortality? So this DALYS, disability adjusted life years, right? Life years considers, or it measures both the mortality and the disability. It measures both the mortality, it measures the disability. Right? Now let us understand basic concepts. So let us understand the beautiful examples here, okay? Beautiful examples. What does it tell now? Now say example, there is a person X. He developed diabetes mellitus at the age of 45. Remember, he develops at the age of 45. Suffering with the diabetes mellitus for 5 years. Died at the age of 50 years. Remember that. He developed diabetes mellitus at the age of 45. He suffered with the diabetes mellitus for the 5 years and he died at the age of 50. Now, you need to calculate the Daly for this patient. Before calculating, you need to understand, right? You need to understand there is something known as disability weight. The weightage for the different disability, say example for the diabetes mellitus, the disability weight is 0.2. The consider same that the blindness, the disability weightage is 0.6. This is the first point you need to understand. And you should also understand the standard life expectancy is 80 years to a person. Now, let us look into the points now. Let us observe carefully. Now, the first thing is years, right? The years, what is L? Life lost. Okay. Now, we need to understand, right? We need to understand one important years is now years of life lost. Now, how many years of life is lost? When I consider the standard life expectancy is about 80 years and this patient had died at 50, can I tell 80 minus 50 is 30 years? There is a loss of 30 years for the patient because of diabetes, which is found at the age of 45 years life lost. Now, to calculate Daly's, I got one answer, right? I got one point, that is years life loss, that is 30. Now I need something known as years lived with the disability. When I tell the years lived with the disability, right? Years lived with the disability, you need to understand. Remember, when I tell the years lived with the disability, now how many years this patient suffered with diabetes? He suffered for 5 years. And what is the weightage of this? What is the weightage of disability weight for the diabetes mellitus? It is 0.2. And you need to understand 5 into 0.2, that is 1 year. 1. So can I tell this Daly 30 plus 1 equal to 31 DALY. Daly is lost. Okay. That's the basic point, and that's the basic we need to understand, right? Now let's go with some other measures. The next step of measures, that is quality adjusted life years. Now we need to understand one important basic concept, that is this combine both, remember, quantity and quality of life given by, and it consider both quantity and the quality of life, and this is given by intervention. Now the quality of life is expressed by utility values. That's a basic point. The quality of life, remember, the quality of life expressed by, what is that? It is expressed by utility value. Now what is the utility value for the perfect health? The utility value for the perfect health is 1 and the utility value for the death is 0. So can I tell the range of quality of life starts from 0 to 1. That's the range. When I tell 1, he has got a perfect health. When I tell is 0, death. Now let us look into the example here, right? Now example here, if an individual has a perfect health for 1 year. If an individual has a perfect health for 1 year, so we need to understand what is that? 1 into 1 utility value, that is 1 Qaly. 1 into 1 utility value, that is 1 Qaly. Okay, that's a basic point. It is 1 into 1 utility value is 1 Qaly. Right. Now if the same individual, say example, if an individual has a perfect health for 1 year, you multiply with the perfect health, so 1 into 1 Qaly. Now let us look into the another question here. Okay, sorry, let us look into the another question here. What is the another question tells here? It tells now if a person live, okay, for 1 year with a half of perfect health. Okay, when I tell it is an half of perfect health, we need to understand one. Okay, is the 1 year perfect health. I have told you the utility value will be 1, but it is half of perfect health, that is 0.5. So it is 0.5 Qaly. Very simple, guys. The first person has gotten 1 Qaly, and the second person with half of perfect has got 0.5 Qaly, and you need to understand first person has got a better intervention. Okay, now what is the use of this Qaly? You have to understand the use of the quality tells it compares effectiveness of two interventions. It compares the effectiveness of two interventions, like intervention A versus B. You can compare, and it's also called as cost utility analysis. Cost utility analysis. Now say example here for the Qaly, you have a treatment. If a person is taking a treatment A, years lived is 4 years, utility value is 0.9, the Qaly is 4 into utility value, that is 0.9, that is 3.6 years. Same thing if a treatment B, 2 into 0.5, and this tells about 1 year. What is the next important points? What is extra Qaly in the treatment A is the extra Qaly is 2.6 years is the extra Qaly. Right? 2.6 is extra Qaly. That's the basic point. Okay. Now let us understand the next important aspect, that is HALE, that is health adjusted life expectancy. Now what do you mean by HALE? That is health adjusted life expectancy. That is average number of years lived in full health. That's what you need to understand. The average number of years lived in full health. Now say example, if this is a person, right, this is a lifespan of a person. Now say example, at this period he lived the full health and became dull, full health, became dull, full health. Now we need to understand this. Now when you add this period, you get an HALE, that is life adjusted life expectancy. Life adjusted expectancy, that is an average number of years lived in full health. Before you have got, you need to understand the old name. The old name is DFLE, disability free life expectancy, that is Sullivan index. Later it has come to disability adjusted life expectancy. Now it is replaced by HALE, health adjusted life expectancy. Right? It's not a disability now. Disability, the word disability is no more. It is replaced by health adjusted life expectancy. Let us finish this session by speaking about the, you need to understand considered age and sex specific mortality and morbidity patterns. This HALE, it considers the age and the sex specific mortality and morbidity patterns. Now if you take the equation, right, if I take the equation of this health adjusted life expectancy, this, if you look into this, it is lesser than life expectancy, because if any person has a morbidity patterns, he has a morbidity pattern, so it cannot be equal. The HALE, like health adjusted life expectancy, cannot be equal to LE life expectancy, right? That's all for this session, and this session will be in the next session we'll be talking about the another aspect. Thank you.